All right, we're back. So, where are we at? Summit, One Vanderbilt. Shout out Andrew Mathias. We got Garyvee in the house. We literally just wrapped up AB too, and now we're going back to back. Bob still got taco stains.
I got the same pants on as always. Gary is a guy who's always showed respect and been one of the most fascinating figures that I've ever fucking met, and always paid respect to the little guys. In the beginning, I remember I fucked with you and you fucked me when I had fucking 9 followers. So
I saw the talent.
We also got we're bringing on John today, who's the president of Full Send, president of Happy Dad.
Well, maybe he's the godfather, though.
You think he's the godfather?
He maybe is because actually, me and John always go back and forth, Gary. We always have like a little fighting thing of who can bring better guests on. So me and John have this thing, and I think you're beating me right now. You have Tyson.
Yeah, technically, I get
who gets credit for Gary?
I get credit for Gary, even though you know.
No, you get credit for Gary. I'll give you.
Thank you.
Bob could have got me.
He could have, and I know he sent that text prematurely. We were gonna have you come on board in a couple weeks.
Gary will probably, because out of sympathy, he'll just do it. But for you, it's more of a real business thing. You know, for me,
I've known John a long time.
I know. I love that.
Long time.
But it's I'm actually fascinated to see what you're doing in this whole fucking NFT space.
I thought it'd be cool. I'm so excited to sit down with you, bros, because this whole everything going on right now, I think it's just so cool that we just have a fucking combo about what's happening in this fucking digital world right now and everything going on. I'm so interested.
It's interesting because it's the first time it's been like this since 1996, 97, 98. Like Web 2, which John for sure, Bob for sure, you in the newest version of it. Web 2 kind of hit in 05, 06, MySpace, Friendster, then MySpace, and then quickly MySpace, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and it all kind of popped off. But there wasn't like scary, like I don't even understand what's happening vibes. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, can I watch like Family Guy on this thing called YouTube? Weird. Web 3 is like seed phrase, cold wallet, NFT. Why did somebody just pay $400,000 for a JPEG of a rhinoceros with like a flame up its ass? Like, it's so confusing. And the last time it was this confusing was 1995, 6, 7, when you had to tell 20, 30, 40-year-olds, no, there's a thing called the internet. And like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you talk to people on AOL chat. Like people were confused, and you guys are youngsters. You're very young. Like it's been a good long time, 25 years since something came along, which is the blockchain. Now, obviously, it's been around, right? Bitcoin's been around, Ethereum's been around, but now it's consumerized, meaning everyone's aware of it. Like, a lot of people have heard the term NFT. They don't know what it is. A lot of people think it's a scam or this and that. But like everybody thought the internet was a fad. Like everybody listening right now on the other device that you're attached to, just Google the internet is a fad and read unlimited articles by the Wall Street Journal, by professors, by real legit people saying, no, this is gonna be gone in 2 years. And that's what you're hearing right now about NFTs. Like, this is money laundering, this is a fad. And like, granted, I personally, and I put out this content every day, believe 98% of the projects right now are going to zero.
I agree, yeah.
Just like the internet stocks of 99. But the overall concept of NFTs and what it represents will affect every person listening and watching for the rest of our fucking lives.
So for anybody that doesn't know, because I'm honestly in this boat, I'm an idiot with this shit. What the fuck is an NFT? And I'm dumb, sorry, my bad. What is an NFT?
It stands for non-fungible token. I believe the word can change. We used to call social media Web 2.0. Like, it could change, so don't even get caught up on it, but that's the term. What does it actually mean? It means that you can absolutely show and verify that you own something digitally. You own it. That's a brain fuck for the crew here, for me when I first got it, and everyone listening, because we weren't used to it. But what was a brain fuck for everybody in 1999 was the idea of people dating online. Everybody thought that was weird. That was like a 500-pound dude in his mom's basement. Now everybody fucking does it. It's DM and swipe left, it's all that. So what's funny for me is watching a lot of 28 to 50-year-olds really struggle and shit on this, and they don't realize they became their mom. Like, you used to make fun of your parents for not wanting to put a credit card into the computer. Now you are that by shitting on NFTs.
What are these apes like? What are they? Because I so you.
Before we go there, let me finish one point.
There's a lot more.
Yeah, let me go to a one more 101 place. When people are like, well, I can just right click and save. It's a JPEG.
I don't know what they are. Meanwhile,
the amount of people that take photos in fake private planes, in fake watches, in fake Lambos. It's easier to fake in the real world than it is in the blockchain. If Bob took a right click and saved the Bored Ape and put it on his profile, it's like, yo, here I am, I'm in the game. In 8 seconds, I can go to the blockchain and see if he actually owns it. You can fake it more in the real world than you can on the blockchain. People don't understand
it's like
that
wearing like
yet.
a fake chain or some shit. Like
Of
anyone
course.
can do that. You can
But what he's
flex
saying is
anything
like,
yeah.
if there's a fake chain, you got to take it to a jeweler. He's got to bring out the magnifying glass, take a look at it.
See
Where
if
here
the
you
watch
just
is
look it
real.
up. You know,
But let me say this. I'm incredibly empathetic to anybody who's listening who's like, this is fucking stupid. And I'm cool with that.
I think that's why I
guess-
wanted to do this too. It's cool because we have a lot of those people.
And here's the best part. I could be 100% wrong. I'm just ready to talk to everybody who's listening and watching in 2037 and we'll see what's up. Like it's, and me with that statement, I'm willing to take my L. But I don't think I will.
Where does it like become like a scam though? Where does it become where it could be?
Bob, there was on OpenSea, which is one of the biggest marketplaces where
It's
you buy
the
and sell.
eBay of NFTs right now.
Yeah, it's the eBay of NFTs, and there was over $1 billion in transactions last month. You know, but what's crazy is there's less than 2 million wallets on there.
There was $1 billion in transactions in the last 4.5 days on
Right.
OpenSea.
So,
There was
I
$1 billion
mean-
last month because people were tax harvesting, so there was less action. As soon as we flipped the new year, the first 6 days of January, there's been $1 billion.
With less than 2 million people on OpenSea.
When I first saw it, I kind of thought it was stupid too but then when I realized like what you said, like 98% of the projects are going to go to zero, that's when I really like started to understand. And like when you see those 2% of projects that actually are going to do something, that's when I really started to understand like the value of it. So
And-
I think that's
right where it's like, okay, wait a minute. My instincts is for people watching. And by the way, I saw this in 2017 with CryptoKitties. I was like, this is insane. Owning, like, it would like broke my brain, and I left it. I was like, nah, like I don't have time for this right now. This is too crazy. I don't understand. But when I really did a ton of homework on CryptoPunks in late 20, going into last year in 2021, what happened since 17 was I know that every kid that's 10 is willing to spend every dollar of their parents on a skin on Fortnite to flex digitally, not physically. I know why. This is a very cool room right now. If you look around, what people are wearing, what hat, what haircut they have, it's all just communication, right? And so everyone's just communicating through their clothes, through their what they drink, what they buy. Like the biggest form of communications that humans do is buy shit, whether it's a home, a car, a meal, or clothes. It's the biggest form, more than your words, more than what you write. It is what you buy. And as this goes digital, it's the biggest market of them all. And once everybody understands that this is going to eat up the world and what it actually means, or more importantly, when you say, why would somebody want to own something digital? Well, why the fuck do you want a blue check mark on Instagram?
yeah.
Validation.
Why? Why do you want 1 million followers on TikTok? That's digital. You want social currency. It's the human race. It's how we fucking live.
But I'm still like really dumb at this.
So I think, Gary, what makes a
really
good
am.
what makes a
Bob,
good
you're
project versus a
dumb
bad
because
one?
you need to put 10 hours of work on Google search and YouTube videos and actually put in the work instead of just reading the headlines.
I know, because I look at it like I'm really going to speak like a fucking guy who really doesn't know anything, because I don't. I shouldn't even be in this podcast right now because I don't know anything. But like, for instance, John, what is this like ape thing you bought with the fucking eyeballs or whatever it is? Like, what is that even? How do you acquire that?
Well, I mean, that's another NFT, right? Like, you know, and I think that's going back to one of the reasons why we have Gary here is, I'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why and what it is. But I think the biggest thing, Gary, is why Kyle and I really wanted to talk to you is we have a very loyal fan base.
Yep.
And we haven't
Oh,
launched
yeah.
anything yet. You know, we haven't launched anything yet because we're very mindful of when we launched, you know, what do they get other than the flex?
Correct.
What more can we do? How, if someone goes and spends their hard-earned money, whatever it is, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is, what do they really get other than the flex?
I mean, Bob, back to, like, just to pick it up, like, back to what you were saying about, like, I don't get it. Like, my response is real. It's the homework. Like, you're going to have to put in the homework. Like, it's too new and complex, which is why everyone thinks it's a scam, which is why everybody thought the internet was a fad. This is like some, like, going the man to the moon things.
Crazy.
Here's a little thing that's interesting. To John's point, there's a digital image. It could be known as a collectible. A Jackson Pollock sells for $100 million. 50 years ago, 70 years ago, people thought that was just splashing paint in the Hamptons when the Hamptons wasn't the Hamptons, out bumblefuck New York, and worth nothing. So yes, there's the collectability. The big thing with NFTs is there's a contract attached to the image. The smart contract, verifiable, by no server, by third party, right? That's the punchline. What you put in that contract is what's interesting. So for example, with VeeFriends, I knew I was launching it super early. I knew that I wanted to finally build my WWF, because I'll always call it that instead of WWE, my Pokemon, my Disney, and that I wanted to spend the next 40 years building these characters. Empathy Elephant, Patient Panda, right? Flexing Fox. That I was gonna do this, that I wanted that creative IP. I was gonna build my Transformers. But because I knew it was so new, I decided to put in the contract that it's also a ticket to 3 years of VCon, which is like a South by Southwest, Davos. It's going to be at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, May 19th to 22nd. Ridiculous lineup of speakers, right? And so I knew that I could create some upfront value that would let my audience be patient while I developed the IP and the NFTs developed so they understood what they were actually getting. So when you say, hey, we got a crazy audience, which everyone's aware of, what are they going to get besides the flex? A, let's not demoralize the flex.
Yeah.
Many people, we don't razz on Kith or Palace or Fear of God that they're delivering you a hoodie for $150 that delivers the flex. We actually think that's phenomenal. And I do. It's how communities are built. So there's like, that doesn't need to be demonized. Now, if whatever imagery you guys come up with also gives you access to this virtually, access to that physically, your annual Super Bowl party, the only way you get in is with the token. A big thing in Toronto once a year as an homage to how it, like, one day eventually, what about 1% royalty? What about if an NFT represented 1% royalty of this?
So one question with that though, I feel like it's Bob, it's like is it Gary, like a modern day club membership in a way?
It can be. You know, it can be very directly, like I said. Like, for example, full disclosure, I'm thinking about buying real estate, even maybe an island where holders can have access to. We've seen Soho House. We're in New York City. Zero Bond is phenomenal. Like, sure, it can be a physical membership. And then there's the subconscious human membership. These Nikes, that NYPD hat, that happy, like when you walk in the airport and you see somebody have a hoodie or sneakers that you fuck with and you know that many people don't know, you immediately feel family. Or what we've always done, when I see somebody walking in New York City wearing a Jets hat, that person's my fucking family.
100%.
Get that all the time.
We've been tribal from the get. This is now a way for verified digital tribalness in perpetuity. But what's even more interesting for the issuers of the NFTs is there's a royalty contract similar to publishing music or books that creates economics that we have not seen before. When somebody resells a VeeFriend, I get a royalty. Those become profound economics, which is why The Weeknd has a $60 million home. If you hit in royalty land, there's real money.
I'm more
So every time someone buys and sells Gary's NFT,
he's gonna make
he gets 10%.
But you have to understand why that's a big deal. When Fleer sold the Michael Jordan cards, they got like 8 cents. When I sell one right now for $600,000, that doesn't go back to Fleer. In NFT land in the next 100 years, it will.
Do you get all that 10% or do you put some into like a community wallet?
I went with all my 10% because I'm taking those dollars like a business and reinvesting them in the, I need to make.
Like V conference.
Yeah, correct. VCon is costing me a fucking fortune every year for 3 years. But I also need to launch a TV show, children's books, apparel line. I need to buy slotting fees at Walmart for my stuff. Like I'm trying to run $1 billion company, so I need those royalties. Other people have shared the royalties. Other people have said the community owns it. Look at Bored Ape, the most famous one. They don't own it. The community owns it. So now people are going to monetize their apes.
They give all 10% to a community wallet?
No, they have the commercial rights. The person that owns the Bored Ape has the commercial rights. Bored Ape still gets a royalty.
So, but back to the fundamentals. Say I'm a fucking guy who owns nothing, right?
Yes.
Because I'll be honest with you, I guarantee that 95% of the people watching right now have no idea. And you preached on what? How many hours?
Listen, I'm a big 50 hours, which is intense, but I think impact is so big that it's worth the conversation. Like, I think first of all, knowing the kind of DNA of the person that watches this show, there's a lot of ambition and adrenaline and fucking like alphaness. Yeah. And so like, I think it's worth I can tell you this, you're way better off spending 50 hours educating yourself on the internet. Let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
Bob, I apologize. You're way fucking better spending 50 hours doing your own homework on Twitter, YouTube, and Discord on NFTs than any fucking thing going on in college.
Yeah.
But what is step one though? So you have to put in those 50 hours.
Do what I did in January. What is an NFT? Enter.
Enter on Google.
That's right.
Okay.
And by the way, watch both, try to watch both versions. Go into something called twitter.com, you know it.
Yep.
And type in hashtag NFT and just fucking read shit. You got to start from the fucking dirt. Mm-hmm. And you just fucking read and listen. I can't read for shit. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos and listened to podcasts. Mm-hmm. Bob, you're a great reader.
Right. So you say you have $500 in your bank account. You want to get in the NFT space, and you don't know what the fuck to do. You got to want to commit 50 hours of fucking work and however you're saying.
Did you say you want to or you don't want to?
Saying there's a kid who's watching this right now.
Doesn't want to or does?
Who wants to.
Good, that's good.
Who's interested in fucking doing this. He has nothing to his name.
Yep.
He has $500 in his bank account, and he wants to fucking get in the NFT space. He needs to commit 50 hours to this fucking world that you're saying of learning.
And then what I would do if I'm that kid is once I've got 50 hours in the bag, I would ask a successful project to be a moderator in their Discord and let them pay me in ETH or Solana to do that.
So break that down a little more though.
Yeah, so right now, NFTs are expensive. Way too expensive for $500 land. You know where my brain immediately goes to go garage sailing with that $500 and turn it into 5,000 in 6 months and then go shopping. Right. But if we're playing just in this narrow place, spend the 50 hours. Now you got your shit a little bit tighter and go find a top project in ETH or Solana or Magic, some of these chains, these are blockchains, and say to Alien Friends, FRENS right now, which is doing well, you hit up the founder on Twitter or you tweet them or you tweet their account and say, hey, I want to work as a moderator on your Discord for free or to get paid, because then you can start building your bag, because $500 is very hard right now. Unfortunately, it will come down.
Right.
But that's where we're at.
So you're saying this is a space that kind of only the big players can play in?
No.
No, I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm saying that there's a lot of people that spent $700 on a Bored Ape that just sold it for $400,000, and that's fucking insane. Right. I'm also saying that's rare and far and few in between, and I think people lack patience. Mm-hmm. Everything's now culture, and why not have some patience and fucking get some dirt under your fingers for a year, and instead of trying to invest $500 because you're going to make $4,000, which means 99% of the time you're going to lose, why don't you eat some shit for a year, build up your bag a little bit more, and then maybe in 9 or 12 months have $5,000 and a fuckload more education to go and do something smart. Everybody just wants shit right this fucking second.
Right.
Bob?
Yeah, I know.
What fascinates me is like kind of the opposite. It's not the smaller people, but what people like us and even you and anyone else can do that as a platform, what we can do in the NFT space. And that's something I've become fascinated with.
And what I like about what John said is what most people are about to do in 2022 in the NFT space is make a lot of short-term money and fuck up their reputation.
Yeah.
That's what that's what we would never do. Because, I mean, the amount of offers we've got to even promote an NFT project I feel like what everyone's doing right now is like choose an animal and like make it look like it's on Molly or some shit and then sell 10,000 of them.
That's right.
And make $10 million, which we could literally do tomorrow if we wanted.
Of course you could.
Yeah. Right?
But then
I'm one of those guys.
But that would be it. And we'd
I'm not
be
gonna
done.
lie, I'm one of those guys.
But
we'd be done.
But one of the things, and this is one of the reasons I really want to talk to Gary is like, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I'm a holder of VeeFriends. And I got VeeFriends when I started. I wanted to be closer to you, right? I know I could text you anytime, but I wanted, like, I just know you do a lot to inspire and motivate people. And I was like, you know what? I want to be one step closer. And then when you start talking about doing the conference and some of these other physical stuff, I was like, wait a minute, he's not going to have a conference and I can't go. And I'm not going to text you like, hey, sorry, I never got one, but can you let me in? I wanted to be further connected with you, with Gary. And I think that's what every project should be doing, is
so
whether
if we buy
it's
his project, we can maybe have access to his conference.
I want to go to his conference. I think it's going to be cool. I don't want to sit back and watch clips on YouTube about it. I want to be there. You know, it's really hard. Apple has
Bob, for context, I'm sorry, John. Yeah. Over 50% of the VeeFriends sold at $2,000.
Okay.
That's a 3-year conference. So that amortizes out to like less than $700 for a 4-day conference, right? Now, the people that believed in me at the time, now the cheapest VFriend is $40,000. So they've 20 extra money at least, and they can decide what they're gonna do. But it was very important to me that's why I kind of front loaded the value. My project's very unique. Most people are just like, here's the image, call it a day. Let's be a community. I wanted to give the real life access that a smart contract can do. And I'm actually surprised that a lot more people haven't gone there, but I'm not surprised. What John knows, because we knew each other from early Vine and Web 2 days, is people come and go. People come and go because most people want the short bag. That's it. They want the 7 million in 2 years, buy a house and chill. I want the process. I want to go for it all. If you go for it all, you're leaving money on the table every day of your life. The thoughtfulness of what you're going to do to the audience matters. And on this one, it's on the blockchain forever. So if you guys do a project and you launch and you make 13 million on the launch, right? And then royalties, but then you abandon it. You just do something else. Your life changed. You decide, which I don't think you'll do based on what I've watched, but if you did, or anybody else, well, somebody's gonna tweet or Instagram or TikTok, whatever the platform of the day in 7 years, and be like, man, that was fucked up what those people did. Look at this person that, the Beanie Baby transactions are lost. The person that paid fucking $100,000 for Princess Diana lost. Beanie Babies couldn't do anything about that. There was no blockchain. They couldn't make it right for him who spent $100,000 on a Princess Diana beanie because there was no blockchain. But you can, because it sits on the blockchain and you can do something about it. I don't think people realize what's happening here. The people that do a project, make a ton of money, and then think they're just gonna run away and say, sorry, the market is the market, have a problem, because with the blockchain, they can still bring value to the token holder. In 13 years, I can say, if you own a VFriend, you are now my business partner in this new company. I could, and I don't think people have wrapped their head around that yet.
Is that going to be illegal? Because one thing that I was telling John that I think is so cool and that we could be so unique in the space is how, like you said, we can give a percentage of our ventures.
We need the government
back to holders. Right. But is that going to turn into like a security?
Yeah. So we have to wait for a lot of things, just like we had to wait on the internet, right? Again, a lot of kids in this room, there was insanity emotion in 2006 about YouTube. Pirating content, this and that, like, oh my God, SNL clips on YouTube. This is great. Like, people were like, remember the FBI thing in the VHS?
Yeah.
Like,
it's one of the reasons why YouTube
I remember when I would copy WrestleMania, I was like, I know that somebody's gonna knock on my door and fucking arrest me. Like, you know, like, so there's still a lot to be figured out. Yeah.
But adding it to the community while it's safe, right? Like, let's say we said, I want to give X percentage of our merch sales and put it into our community wallet and let the community decide what we spend that on. I think that's so fucking cool. Like, it's insane.
Whatever,
DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, it's something everyone's going to be hearing about a lot. Yes, comma, you're going to love this. I would love for the VFriends holders of today to be my business partners in everything I do the rest of my life.
Right?
Today,
all the time.
Today,
I think it's cool.
Unclear if I can do that. In 6 years, the laws could be clarified and they'll say you can. I, the next day, can come out. And then that's what's cool about the blockchain. I can verify that you have it, you connect, you prove it, you sign the contract, and you're now in the thing. That's amazing. You can retroactive in perpetuity. That's a big fucking deal that we've never been able to do in life.
So your holders are going to buy the jets with you?
It's on my docket.
You're still there, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I know you want to do that.
I'm more convinced than ever that I've got a shot, but I just like, for me, it's the thrill of the hunt.
Of course.
The thought of like, can I strategize my way over the next 20 years to pull off this fucking insane goal?
You're a
as long as I've known Gary for
11.
11, 12 years, it's always been, I got to buy the jets. I got to buy the new
but it's always been, I've got to try to.
Yeah.
Right? Like when Johnny Thompson or Susan McGee buys them in 15 years and everybody shits on me like, fuck you, Gary, you didn't do it. I'm not going to be devastated. To me, the real love is the try. Mm-hmm. Like, of course I'd love to. It'd be insane. If I pull it off, I even think there's movie in my life, after I'm gone. But if I don't, like, look, somebody did it better. They outflanked me. I didn't pull it off, and I can eat that humility. I can.
And so that's I mean, it was probably plenty, but what's the big Garyvee end goal?
The real end goal is to actually, to be very frank, recognize that I have the ability to have nuanced conversations at scale. Let me explain what I mean by that.
You've already done that.
Yeah, but like for example, business. I think people don't realize that business is like sports. For example, sports. Let's use somebody you love and I hate, Tom Brady, right? Jets, Tampa, a couple weeks ago. He's freaking out on the field, pissed. He's won 7 trillion Super Bowls. It's a random game against the Jets.
He's a competitive dog,
and
Gary.
he's not happy that they didn't push up the clock and he wants to like fight. And I watch that because I hate him so much. And I'm like, I so get that because I have that in me. It's not about anything other than the fucking game. You're in it for the fucking game, right? But then the game's over. And what does he do? He goes out of his way to go up to Zach Wilson and says, you played a nice game. Like, you can clap it up. You can talk to your homies about like charity events and how's your wife and right? In business, we don't realize that you can try to beat everybody. I want to be better than anything you ever do. Facts. Anything that you three ever do, I want everything that I do to be better. But it doesn't mean that your winning comes at my expense, nor does it not mean that I can't give you roses when you're fucking dominating. And in business world, people don't treat it that way. Like if somebody does a podcast format similar to this, it's all of a sudden like, fuck that. Like in business, everyone's like, thinks that it's that, and I just don't see it. And so like some of the nuances, I want to create a legacy around business that's slightly different. To me, that's more interesting. How many people show up to my funeral because I did it right? Versus, did I buy the fucking jets? Nobody gives a fuck. You know how many rich fuckers or people that have done crazy things die and we're like, cool. And it's like, but if you fucking leave a positive impact, like that's fucking cool.
How rich are you?
Very.
How much money you made in the space that we're talking about right now?
Oh yeah, didn't I see all those posts going around?
I see 90 million. I see.
Yeah,
By the way, don't be misled. My Google net worth is 86 million, and I will say this. Let's just say it's far off. So.
You know what's crazy about that 90 million in 90 days thing? I literally in the video say it generated 50 million in primary sales. There's been 41 million in secondary, which I get 10% of, which means it's 54 million. Like, right? And that's, but I also carry a multi-million-dollar payroll. ETH goes up and down. Like there's costs. Like I'm running I didn't make it. The company of VFriends made the 54. You pay 27 in taxes. You have expenses. VCon's gonna cost me fucking 5, 7, 10 like a year. Like people are just so fucking, everybody wants to read a headline and be like, all my friends are like, Gary, 91. I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? Like you have a business bone in your body. Do you understand how shit actually works? They're like, so now when I say very, the average income in the US is 54,000, 55,000. The top 1% of earners in America make 450,000 a year and above. If you make $450,000 a year in America, you are very, very, very wealthy. We don't even begin to think somebody's got anything going on if they don't make $1 million a year. And $1 million a year in all the craziness now feels like nothing. Right? So I think we have the conversation super wrong. And then there's a whole nother convo. Do you know how many miserable fucks I know that make $4 million a year and hate their life and everything sucks shit?
Many.
And do you know how many people that make $130 or 65 that I know that love life? Like we have a complete fucked up convo of what success looks like.
Right. It's all just
true.
You know,
It's fucked.
You know what it is this too, because you know, on social media, all these people are portraying these different lives of jets and fucking watches.
The bigger question is like, why do you care if somebody else is on a private jet?
I don't. But at the same time, there are people that are just, that's the way society's adapted to.
I understand, but we need to like, which is why we need to have important conversations around self-esteem and FOMO and all this other shit. Like, if your happiness is predicated on if people think you're awesome or this and that, you're going to be in trouble. You're vulnerable to outside affirmation, which is the quickest way to get into a shit spot.
So what is your vice? Where do you spend your money? Like in a sense of where you maybe shouldn't? Like for instance, Steve, their partner, gold chains and all this shit, whatever. Where do you spend your money maybe where you shouldn't?
Convenience.
Yeah.
Right? Like anything that saves me time. Yeah. Right? Like I don't want to do anything like other than what I want to do. So anything that like I have multiple assistants, driver, like all that's like, so that's one place. This is ridiculous. Something happened when I was 10 that really was a telltale for me. On my 10th birthday, my grandma took me to Toys R Us and they had Cabbage Patch Kids, which were impossible to get. So I took my birthday money and bought my sister a Cabbage Patch because she was with me. I don't like stuff. And I don't like stuff. I like experiences. I will overspend on vacations like crazy. Like crazy. Food, right? Like I'll be ridiculous with that kind of shit. But I don't like stuff. Cars, like I'm not a stuff guy. I'm saving. Like I'm trying to do some shit out here. You know, I'm 46 years old. I'm young. This is another thing with your audience. Like, man, if I could just get these fuckers at 25 to understand they haven't even started.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine now with how you and your brother were on fire 11 years ago, if I told you in 11 or 12 years, you'd still be young as fuck and you haven't even started, you wouldn't have believed me.
Younger than ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I just wish people slowed down, were patient.
I was 28 years old, sleeping in a car.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
You're
like,
still starting. I mean, 34.
34.
I feel like you're still starting.
Shut the fuck up.
how old are you?
27.
Yeah, that makes me want to punch my fucking like face.
No, it's
like
not.
that's the best.
But he sees
But
life
then
like
I
we
feel
see
old
life.
too sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I never feel old. I don't think people have it figured out. I think that people are impatient because they want to look like they're successful to other people. When you're in your own fucking cocoon doing your own shit. By the way, you know what else that does? It keeps you grounded when people say you're the best. One of the great things about doing this, living in your own fucking cocoon, is it's not just about hearing the hate and being okay with it. There's a sneakier one. It's not believing the hype. All those little goat emojis and you're the best and all the hearts and you're fucking, when you don't hear that either, when you appreciate it, but you don't believe it, well, it keeps you fucking grounded and not being a dick face.
It was crazy because we talked about how in the early, like literally in the early days with you, like when I literally had like 9 people following me. 9, like literally nobody. Gary was a guy who was like in my DMs right away, whatever you want to say it was,
Really?
blah, blah. Are you engaging with people that are hitting up every day? Are
Yeah.
you like, so what makes you respond to a DM?
That, 2 things. 1, I need to stay in the dirt to know what the fuck is going on. And the second I go into the clouds and the penthouse, I'm finished. So selfish. I need to know what the fuck is going on, the pulse at every second.
Yeah, but I'm saying if a kid DM, like if a random, like
Yeah.
say there's 1,000 people that DM you based on watching
Yeah.
this podcast, right, out of the full send
Yeah.
audience, what's going to make them
Oh, completely,
get a trigger?
completely random.
Random. You look at your phone at the right time.
Yeah, completely random.
But what motivates you to get to
Two things.
get a response?
2 things. Either A, in the dirt, to know the pulse of culture, whether it's emerging gamer, hip hop artist, like anything.
So they have to offer value to you.
Nope. I'm telling you why I'm in there.
Okay.
That's 1.
you check like their engagement. That's something I do. I mean, if I get a DM and I'm looking and then I check someone's profile, I'm like, oh, this, I kind of watch what they're doing and I,
Yeah,
you know,
a
you
mix.
learn.
But I'm literally Gary. Hit me
What's
up
this
at the
person doing to
beginning
get
stage?
engagement?
Like I hit Gary up when I had this, and like he was just.
I
Like,
think Gary,
responsive.
because I'm very similar too, is I think it looks at what's interesting too, right? Someone could DM me and have 37 followers, and this actually happened, low amount of followers, but started saying, hey, John, I know you're into collectibles. Have you looked into VHS tapes yet? I was like, what? Like, and I started looking at it. Then I went down this rabbit hole, started seeing Gary was talking about it. And then I got obsessed with VHS tape collectibles, which is a thing, by the
kid, I
way.
can sniff
I know
you
your
out of
mind's
here.
like this
Insane,
right
but
now.
cool.
Like, but I went and bought Pulp Fiction, Top Gun, Karate Kid, all sealed. I sent them in to get
That
graded.
was worth a lot.
It's crazy a lot.
How about the Disney movies?
Less
Not.
if you go on eBay, but now they grade everything, right? Just like cards, toys, and now VHS. Video games are fucking huge. Grading them in what kind of condition. I want to get back to VHS because it's wild. I want to finish one other part because I know I'm at the part of my career right now that if I take 13 seconds, it might mean something.
Exactly.
It's fucking incredible.
Which is amazing.
I don't
Which
even
is
know how to.
almost which is almost
I'm
a
literally
feel good thing, right? Which is almost
like it's insane.
Which
Like,
is almost a feel good thing too.
it's a fucking real thing, bro. Like how the fuck? Like literally some kid, and some of the shit, you guys all get it. Some of the shit is heart wrenching.
yeah.
My dad punched me in the fucking face tonight. Like how are you not compelled to be like, yo, like, and some of the shit you don't even know, like if you can hit, right? Some of the stuff melts me because I'm like, I don't know if I'm capable. This is above my skis, right? But the main reason is 80%. I'll give you the number. I know what's in my soul. 80%. Because if I know I reply to some kid on a high school wrestling team, I'm like, yo, keep going, that he's gonna lose his mind, go into school and be like, yeah, and that's like nice. I wish I had this when I was a kid and I could have done that and Macho Man Randy Savage could have been like, oh yeah, and I would have lost my fucking shit.
Right.
80%. 20% because I want to know what's going on and I never, it's like kind of like hip hop, right? There's certain rappers that get enormous and then the streets don't fuck with them because they don't fuck with the streets.
I feel like that's one of Drake's key to successes, right?
Correct. He's
All he does is just collab with the
you know
hottest
why?
rappers and puts
because
them
he's
on.
humble
Yeah.
and hungry. He's in his shit.
Well, the pulse.
Other people win.
He's blown up
and
so many rappers.
Of course.
Lil
Of
Baby,
thing.
21
course, of
Savage.
course.
They're obviously popping before, but Drake gives them that first feature.
He's
He's got a
doing
piece
it
of him
right.
too,
It's
right?
you watch guys like him and
He's
others.
he's a
But
genius.
you know
He
who else does
understands.
that too?
Well, once you're
Right?
at the
Like
top of the
Steve will
fucking
do it,
pyramid, you
Celine.
can,
Yeah.
right?
I kind of like
Same.
learned that from
Right.
Drake, honestly, man. Like
You know?
watching what he did and
Of
just applying it to like a different.
If some YouTuber reached
lane.
out to you, is like, I have 9 million subs and 20 million on IG, but like, okay, whatever. But someone that's
Well, when you
funny
see
has
someone
100K.
small and talented too, it's like
It's the best
that's
feeling.
the best thing. It's very hard to find though, but when
Means
you
you can
do
gobble
find
them
it,
up early
it's
and,
fucking
you know.
it's dope.
But it all depends on what gobbling up early. LA life is like, I'm going to sign this person, make 20% of their bag. For
Right.
me, it's when you say what you just said on this podcast, that means the world to me.
1,000%.
When I know my history with him, I know my history with you. That's what you're saying about me behind my back, not in front of everybody. What people are saying about you behind the back that actually know you, that's what matters. When some kid's like, Garyvee, you're a fuckface. If we've never interacted, I'm like, I understand why you might think that. I might be too much. I might have shit on the Patriots and you like the Patriots. You might think NFTs are scams. Like, I have empathy to why you think that. If you and John said that I'm a piece of shit, I'm dead. I'm like, you guys know me.
Right.
If you did, I can, that would hurt because I think I've watched you from afar. I'm like, fuck, why does he think that? But it wouldn't kill me. I'm like, we don't know each
You don't
other.
know him, yeah.
You guys know the shit that nobody knows. Every single interaction of every single thing. And I'm always putting karma points on the board. I'm not looking to wrap somebody up. You know this.
100%.
You were in that moment at the time. I was like, oh, but like,
Yeah.
here's why. I'm fucking good enough to get mine. I don't need a piece of anybody else.
100%. You got me through a lot of shit, by the way. So you're a good dude with that.
That's
You've
the same
been
with us
having
too.
back.
It's like
shit.
it's kind of different for
Lot of
us
shit.
because we like.
Real shit. This guy's
Real
fucked
shit.
up.
We'll get to that.
Real shit.
I want to hear.
Real shit. We're not going to get to that.
Yes,
but
we
real
will.
I've been asking for a Bob Menery episode.
Yeah,
No,
not
I
yet.
want to know what kind of shit Bob got into. Like,
No,
Gary had to help
we're
out.
all good. I always just, but at the end of the day, there's certain people that I do reach out to, and I consider them mentors, and I consider them good friends. That if shit is going on, Gary's one of them, 100%. Who, like I said, when there was nothing on the line early on, he was a dear friend of mine, and so respect that.
Gary, do you realize how
Good trans-
powerful
that was like a
of a
Rodman
voice you've
transition.
got?
I do.
How'd you
Right, like
become
you-
such a good like speaker? When did you realize that you were like such a good speaker?
The first speech I ever gave, I was so
When
fucking
was
like,
that?
some dude emailed me. He's like, would you like to speak at a marketing conference in Florida? I was doing the wine shit.
when
I don't
was
know if you
that?
know my background,
Yeah, yeah.
2006. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, I knew I was a marketer. I thought it was really cool because I knew that eventually I would get to that part, but I was in the wine game at this point. So that's cool. Felt right? I never thought of it. I didn't even really know the game. Then he writes and he goes, can we get on the phone and talk about your fee? And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get paid? I was like pumped. So I get on the phone and he goes, we'll pay you $5,000. I lost my mind. I was like, this is an enormous, to talk? So I went, I'm sitting in the back room, people are talking. I'm like, they're not, like, I'm kind of getting this sense of like, I'm not sure that person's very good. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, no presentation. I got D's and F's in school for a reason. I literally didn't even know what the fuck I was gonna talk about. I was like, I'm just gonna go talk about what I know. At that point, Twitter was just about happening. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk about Twitter. I went and bro, fucking, it felt like I was home. From day one, first speech, fucking tore the place down. Everybody rushed the stage. I stayed for like 4 hours talking to everybody. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And immediately I'm like, oh shit, this is something I'm good at that I had no idea. And I was 34 years old, which again, to tie it into this audience, for all the 22-year-olds, 19-year-olds, I was 34 when I found something randomly that I was really good at that I would never thought of prior to a cold email. So I was 34 and I loved it. And when I look back at my style, back to Macho Man or all the stand-up comedy I watch, I realized, my style was affected by what I thought it was cool, but I was talking business shit.
Are you ever worried, because you're obsessed, obviously, with just, like you just said, the public speaking thing and all that. You do a shit ton of shit. Yeah, it's like a Hollywood actor who does too many movies, right? You do everything. You do every podcast. You do every show. That's what I noticed about you, right? And the one thing about, Gary does everything. Why is it that you do everything? You're not specific on picking certain things that make sense.
Well, they make sense to me.
You just do, but you do everything. You
Ish.
do every podcast show. You do
Ish.
every, yeah.
Ish. Like, yeah, but like at this point in my career, 80% of the people that I'm on, I know.
Yeah.
20%, if the other 20% I'm on for the same reason I replied to a kid, I'm like, I like this kid. I like her. And if I go on her show, she's going to leverage my name to get bigger guests. I'm willing to allocate 30 minutes of my time that's very valuable to put them on so they can leverage my name to get bigger because I think they got, what's that?
I see a lot of podcasts. It's like 10K subscribers and Gary just
I love
jumps
that.
on.
That's what,
Cool.
but I'm
And
so,
I'm like, it
that's
must
what
be
I
a
love
friend. And then
about
Gary be like, hey, nice to meet you
No,
for
but
the
that's
first
what I
time.
fucking
Like, whoa.
People
love
fuck
about
with that,
Gary
though,
is he's willing to
honestly.
do
Yeah,
that.
I love that.
But now back to the question is, what the fuck is, and I've asked you before, when do you go to bed and when do you wake up?
I go to bed at like midnight and I wake up at like 7.
So midnight 7.
I'm a big 7. You know, this was the crazy, like everyone's like, I'm passionate about my career, but like I fuck with sleep.
You have to have it.
I think so. I'm just focused on being effective when I'm awake. Right. Like some people are like, I only sleep 4 hours. I'm like, but you sucked the 20 hours you were awake.
Yeah, you were tired halfway through the day.
Like you watched YouTube videos for 4 of those hours.
Yeah.
So I'm more like do my thing, right?
Yeah. So what is the smartest move you think you ever made in your career?
Deciding that I would work for my dad's store, even though I thought I was a beast at 18, even though I was making thousands of dollars on my sports card business pre-internet, that my parents took me from the Soviet Union. My mom is the greatest mother of all time and gave me all my self-esteem and kindness. My dad worked his fucking balls off 15 hours a day because he had $100 fucking dollars, and that I'm gonna go into this family business and I'm gonna take this fucking thing to the moon because I'm the best. And I'm gonna eat shit for a decade, work every fucking minute, own nothing of this business, get fucked and not get paid anything because that's what immigrant families do. And I'm gonna give back to the 2 people that I love the most in the world, and then I'll go get mine. And there's not a thing close.
Are you still die hard on the sports trading card business?
I am. I obviously have been completely tsunamied by the fact that this NFT thing happened, but I've quietly been like strategic. I've been buying up LeBron Chrome refractors.
Yeah. Still.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Because Ruben just acquired Topps, right?
He did.
For whatever it was.
That was a crazy
He
move.
did. Bob, can we stick on the thing I did with my family biz?
I'd love to.
I want, again, back to, John, something else you just touched on. Like, do I realize my voice?
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids watching right now where everyone's being told, you got to go win, da-da-da. A lot of those kids really love their parents. And some of those kids' parents own family businesses. And a lot of kids that are listening right now know what I know, which is if you go into a family business, you don't own that shit and you're going to get underpaid. I took a business from 3.8 million to 65 million and made fucking 70 and 80,000 a year working 7 days a week, 50, like got fucked. But I didn't get fucked. Back to your question. Mm-hmm. It's my legacy now forever. When my parents pass, my deathbed, I can say, man, I did a really good fucking thing, right? It's okay to go from 22 to 25 for 3 years and help your mom's business. Like you have time. At 34 years old, when I started VaynerMedia, and now it's VaynerX, and at the revenue we're at, it's $1 billion company if I was to sell it today, right? We're 250 million, 235, 240, I gotta see what the final numbers. It's a big ass fucking company. That's what I actually do. When everyone's like, what does Garyvee actually do? What the fuck's he do? I'm like, do you not know that I run a 1,500 person global?
Your office.
Like,
you see,
I'm like, I'm running
1,500
T
people.
Grizzly back in the day, baby.
I'm like, I have a real company.
multiple
Like,
floors.
Garyvee is my side hustle.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk runs an actual business. But when I started Vayner, when I was 34 years old, because I was building my dad's business and because in family business you don't get paid, I had no fucking money. I started VaynerMedia in Buddy Media's conference room because I didn't want to have any rent fee at 34. I desperately need people to understand, if you're sitting and watching right now and you're 28 and you don't have shit, and you can get shit. Like, it's okay. Just because you're 31, but your buddy's making $1 million on NFTs or your best friend's girl's making $4 million on TikTok, you don't have to feel like a piece of shit. We're in the first quarter. Jets were beating Tampa 24-14, late fourth quarter. They lost.
Right.
Just because you're not winning at 23 or 27 or 32, you're not finished. And by the way, what's winning?
Well, when is it time to panic?
70?
When is it time to start
70.
panicking? 70. So
70. Because fucking Colonel Sanders came out with some KFC shit late.
So
Grey Goose, you know that thing you
70
flex?
years old, it's time to panic at 70.
Yes. If you're watching right now and you're 70 and
you're-
you suck shit, maybe panic.
Pack it in.
But if you're
Pack it in.
but on some real shit, because you guys know your audience, there's some people watching right now that are 25
Yeah.
and they like feel sad because they're not a millionaire. That's fucking asinine.
I think it's simple. Is
That's
if
a
you're
good
still
point.
if you're still breathing, you got a shot.
Well, that goes back to the last point of like, but what's success?
Right.
Like this whole, like so many people really believe that money is the unlock and they were really, really wrong. They're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They just are.
So how have you and Ruben, have you guys, because I always see Ruben's always attached to your name. How have you and Michael been partners in different ventures?
So I'm on the board of Candy Digital, the NFT company.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I mean, Ruben, he's a guy.
The best.
He's a guy, he's an you know what I like about him is he's an actual operator. This goes back to kind of the theme of this show. Like, if you can't operate, the reason 98% of NFTs don't have to fail. The reason 98% of NFTs are gonna fail is 98% of the founders of these NFT projects can't operate.
How so?
Well, let's see. What you guys have done here with this lovely thing, you need to know how to operate.
Right.
You need to know how to have a conversation with a wholesaler. A lot of people know how to create demand. But to actually turn that into a business, that takes an operational skill set. Ruben's a fucking operator. Like, Fanatics is a real company. It's not like ha ha ha. And like, obviously, I'm proud of my operational skills, and that's why we have a lot of optimism on what Candy's gonna be. And Candy's like Dapper Labs. You know, they've got the NBA highlights. Candy's got baseball, NFT rights.
Yeah, can you talk about Candy a little bit more? Because I don't even think I've talked to Kyle about Candy.
I know.
So Candy's a platform, Candy Digital, and much like Dapper Labs that has NBA Top Shot, which I'm heard of, Candy won the rights to baseball's digital NFT rights, and will continue to go and gobble up sports rights to sell sports official NFTs. So if you want next year's Mike Trout or Wander Franco or Vlad Guerrero's real NFT, that's gonna come from Candy. Just like the real baseball card comes from Topps. Oh, by the way, Ruben and Fanatics just bought Topps.
Have like leagues and teams really capitalized on like the utility of NFTs yet, or not really?
Not fully.
They've just sold like NBA moments yet.
Correct.
Right?
You're gonna get to the place where one of the NFTs represents a 3-minute FaceTime with your favorite basketball player. That'd be cool. Let me buy this NFT and I'll be on with,
or like the exclusive club in the Staples Center where you need the NFT.
Everything that was a wristband
as an NFT
and a stamp and a ticket will be an NFT in a decade.
We went to a basketball game the other week, Kyle and I, and we're like, courtside soon is going to be holders one day.
100%.
Holders only, or
you know
can
why?
only buy them
you know
if you're
why?
a holder.
Because you'll be able to lease that NFT, you'll be able to resell it. The NFT is a collectible. A ticket for Jordan's first game, the stub, Michael Jordan, sold for $260,000 like 2 weeks ago. That's going to eventually be an NFT. And by the way, the Bulls in the NBA would have made money on it. This time they didn't, because that's how the collectible works now. But on the blockchain and royalties, like the world's about to change. Listen, if you're watching right now, I have so much understanding to why you're like, fuck this money. You know, I see every post, right? We're very social out, the four of us. So anytime Hypebeast, you guys, anybody posts anything, Bob, everything is like money laundering, scam. That's the same shit that
idiot. I get called idiot all the time. When I bought that Bored Ape, everyone's like, you're an idiot. I just right-clicked and saved it. Now I have your thing, and I didn't spend what I spent.
But what's so funny is they don't even understand the technology. They don't understand that a blockchain exists. Just like everybody told me when I launched WineLibrary.com in 1996 that nobody would ever buy wine on the internet. Ever. As a matter of fact, most of the smartest people that were millionaires that talked to me to teach me something told me nobody would buy anything on the internet. Forget about wine. This is so stupid, Gary. You're gonna fuck your dad up. I've known your dad for 20 years. This is people coming to me in 1995. I've known your dad for 20 years. He came to this country with nothing. You're about to ruin him and put him out of business with this silly computer thing. People are not gonna buy wine on the internet. You have to come to the store and touch it. Most of the people that are saying scam money laundering, they weren't around in 1995 as a grown-up to watch this conversation, so they don't have the pattern recognition to know when something comes along that changes the entire world. Most people react to fuck that. And the ones that don't, make the bag, make the legacy, enjoy the process. And that's what's gonna happen.
How do you think this space could crumble if it ever did?
Well, it's definitely, in the macro, it won't crumble because I'm completely convinced that the blockchain is now here to stay. But again, internet stocks in 2000 all went to zero except a couple. Like literally, Bob, again, you're a youngster now.
Shut the fuck up.
Brother, in March of 2000, all these internet companies were worth billions. You might have heard of pets.com is the famous thing that is referenced. You're real young, so I'm going to break it down for you. 95, the internet starts coming.
We only got 9 years, by the way.
I get it. 95, the internet's starting to come. By 99 and 2000, all these companies are public, but they're making no money, but they're worth billions, making no money. All of a sudden, kind of like how markets work, the market decided, wait a minute, this is bullshit, and the whole thing crumbles in March of 2000. Amazon goes from whatever it was to like a couple dollars. If you'd bought Amazon in March and April of 2000, I actually asked my team today in a meeting, I'm like, can you tell me what would happen if you bought an Amazon for $1,000 worth of Amazon in April of 2000 at its lowest point? What would it be worth today? The number's staggering. That's gonna happen with this. Do I believe that VFriends or Bored Ape or Punks or the best stuff, X-Copy people could go to 10 cents of the dollar that's now down 90%? The answer is yes. Do I personally secretly can't wait for that moment so I can take my USD, buy my Ethereum, and buy up the shit that I decide did a good job in the first 100 days of the carnage? Operationally, it's the fucking moment of my career. I can't wait.
So you think even the big projects are going to tank?
Yes, because when the entire market tanks, everything tanks. So something's gonna happen because there's too much greed right now. To your point, like every influencer, like these, I don't understand what these influencers are doing. I don't understand, first of all, they're not disclosing. Like, I'll give you 1,000 to pump my fucking stork. Like, okay. Like, I don't understand. Like, people are so fucking obsessed with short-term money that they do such dumb shit.
Mm-hmm. But you think that'll make even the big projects crash?
I do. That is my prediction. Because here's why. I'll tell you why, what I learned. Because everybody thinks, because a lot of people are so confused by the whole thing will go. Right? Like, it's the internet stock thing.
What's better, right? Like, let's just say someone that's in our world is getting paid $200,000 to post something. They don't know that they were that much different than us, where you and I are spending, Kyle and I probably spend, no exaggeration, 12 hours a day, every day, talking about how are we going to do this and how we're going to do this
As
right.
you should.
And they don't know that, right? And they don't know that someone's got paid $100,000, $200,000 to post some bunny thing. You know, they don't know we're getting offered or Steve's getting offered. Steve will do it. We're sitting at a UFC game. Some guy sitting next to him, so I told him, give you $1 million, promote this NFT thing.
Fucking crazy.
And he called me. He's like, this idiot did this. You know, I'm saying no, Johnny, but let's do this right. You know, like.
He's like, this is no, but what the fuck?
Yeah,
it is tough to turn down.
But it's
very
tough.
tough.
$1 million.
So then what's
Listen,
the investigative process then for an influencer right now that's getting these offers to do a brand deal, right? What does it make? So say somebody offers me fucking $10,000. Bob, I want you to post something for $10,000. What's the investigative process that I have to do to make sure
Bob's going to hit up all the NFT pages
like,
now.
I'm ready to go.
Bob, listen,
guys, for anybody looking, I'm ready.
Bob, first things first,
I'm
though.
gonna take this fucking thing right now. I'll take the quick bag.
Bob, the first things first is you got to understand the space first, right? You got to understand it's day one. The last thing that anyone wants to do is be blacklisted or canceled from the crypto NFT space when it's day one.
People know how to become rich. People don't know how to get wealthy. Rich is you take the 10,000 for the quick bag. Wealthy is you never compromise your name in perpetuity so that you can win in the end. That's it. That is the market right now. And 2% know that game.
So how do you know when it's a good promotional deal then? How do you know for an influencer that's coming up to you right now if you want to pump an NFT, right? So because guess what? There's a lot of fucking influencers right now that are out there. They're like, hey, you know what?
I don't think people really care, man.
No, but they're taking the deals. Back to his point.
When you say who
I'm
doesn't
saying the majority of people don't care. Like
Yeah,
from the
that's
people
right.
I follow, the only people that I really like that I'm friends with that I think has an understanding is like banks or something.
Yeah.
But everyone else that promotes it just they don't
But
understand
it's
it.
like
So they
anything
just
else, right? Like
they don't see the future. So they're like, why would I turn down
You know what
100K?
combo we're having right now that I want everybody to hear, because I think 10 people watching and listening will take this little nugget and run with it for the rest of their lives, and we'll see the four of us in the places because they're going to hear it and we'll talk about it. What I don't think the world knows is when you do dumb shit, like take 100K to promote something that you have no idea, you may trick the 98% of the world and get your 100K. But every time you do that, you're losing equity with the 2% of the people in the world that actually fucking
But
matter.
it's still going to happen, Gary. It's still
Of
going to
course
happen.
it is.
They're still going to
happening
do it. It's happening right now.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying though, to that point. To that influencer that I'm trying to talk to, cool, you made 4 million this year, but you're gonna make 7 million in your entire life because you're gonna continue to degrade your brand and your reputation. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't, you would get to 72 million. It just would have taken longer.
But I'm going back to this. I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm in the 95% probably of influencers that don't understand the NFT space.
So do the
and
homework,
when I get
Bob.
a brand deal, but I'm saying if I get a brand deal, it's like,
Bob, the answer is do the fucking
I think
homework.
you got to do homework and try to get ownership in a successful project, aka ours.
I'm in.
Gary's.
Bob,
Let's
Bob,
go.
Bob, the answer to your question, because this is so exciting, is the answer to my question is, do you want to promote some medicine that you have no idea what it is? I'm asking you, Bob.
Do I want to promote
Medicine.
Are you going to give me? Am I an influencer that
You're getting 100.
No,
racks,
Bob, I'm
though.
talking to you. I'm going to give you $100,000 to promote this pill that makes you thinner.
Sure, why not? If I say yes.
Yeah,
Bob's a bad guy though.
No, but listen, here's what I'm saying. That's fine because this is America and Bob should do what he's gonna do. I'm gonna say to Bob as a friend when he calls me twice a year when he needs me, Bob, the reason you're in such a shit spot.
Sometimes on FaceTime or just
Fair
my
enough,
family.
fair enough.
You know?
I'm just trying to help you there. Bob, the reason you're losing is you took the $100,000 for the thing you didn't fucking know.
All right, well, how do you know? What if it's a good deal? Like, how do you
What's
know?
a good deal? Anytime you promote some shit that you have no fucking idea what it is, that's a bad deal.
Okay, so how do they do the investigative process to figure out if it's a good deal or not?
First, you have to. I can tell you I have
Well,
put
you got
in.
Gary, you got John.
I know, but I'm not talking
Kyle?
about Gary and John sitting in a room
Well,
like us.
well,
I'm talking
how-
to the average
one of us
person.
three.
We
I
have
think
enough
one of us
people
No,
three
that
you're
can
not.
understand
You're not
it.
You have
talking for the
Dana?
average. You're not
You
talking
have
for.
one
You're
of
not.
us.
You're not talking to the average
I'm
person.
talking about
no,
if you're-
no. You are not an average person. If somebody offered you $100,000
All
to
right,
promote,
so I'm fucking JohnnyFuckingBones.com, and I've got 90,000 followers on fucking Instagram.
Yep.
Right, and I get a promotional deal and say, hey, we want to give you fucking 2,000, pump our NFT thing. I got $1,000 in my fucking bank account. I need the $2,000,
Take
right? You're saying take it.
I did.
Okay.
Just like I believe somebody that's hungry and has nothing should steal food from a fruit stand.
Okay, but that's
I get
also
it.
going back to your point saying that it's killing the market.
No, no.
At
The
end-
market's listen. The macro greed is going to take down the market. I'm not worried about the person that has $1,000. First of all, if you have $1,000 in your bank account, but you're getting offered $2,000 to promote something, you fucked up.
Right.
So like that scenario doesn't exist, Bob.
Okay.
Like right? Unless
Well,
you
my-
made 200,000 and you just buy dumb shit 24/7.
Right. Okay. I'm just, I'm asking. I'm just.
No, listen. What you're doing is amazing. You're helping people right now. I know what you're doing.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I
is
know
I'm
what
trying
you're
to- I'm
doing.
trying to think of
What
like-
I'm trying to bring
I'm
with
trying to
my-
think outside the box instead of having a podcast with everybody that has everything and has everything. What I'm trying to do is relate to the average person that's watching.
I know exactly
that
what you're
may
doing.
not have.
But I think the problem and what I'm trying to do with my passion because I know what you're doing and I'm trying to do the same thing,
Yeah.
is suffocate compromise.
Mhm.
Like I don't know what to tell you. Like doing the wrong thing is the wrong thing.
Right.
Like taking $10,000 to promote something you spent 0 minutes investigating that because people, it's the reverse of what I'm doing or you guys are doing when you reply to people. You take $20,000 to promote a fucking NFT project that you know nothing about.
Right.
Because you know other people that are watching you are going to spend $800 to buy it. So you're going to take $20,000 so that all your audience loses its $800. That's not going to work out.
Okay.
Well, it's like what happened. I feel like a lot of these NFTs are just like pretty much like a new version of those shit coins that
That's
were
exactly
around,
what they
right?
are.
Yeah.
I think the best move though for anyone
People are
was-
just ready to throw $1,000 at anything.
And everything's going to go.
Anything.
Bitcoin, because it's fucking Bitcoin, is going to keep doing its thing. And guess what? There'll be 10, 5, 9 NFT projects that will be here in 2037. VeeFriends is going to be one of them. I'm going to clip the shit out of this right now. What I just said, in 2037, Bob's going to look terrible. And in 2037, I'm going to clip this shit and it's going to be there and it's going to be a fucking monster. And little kids in fucking Brazil are going to be wearing fucking Patient Panda fucking backpacks because I'm going to spend the next 15 years making every fucking person on earth give a fuck about my characters because I got that in me. But a lot of people won't do that.
Do you reach out at any time your shit that you're pumping with your NFT stuff to any influencers to get them to pump it?
Of course not.
No.
He doesn't need
I don't need it.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, guys.
As a matter of fact, I did
Brand
the
new to this
reverse.
fucking
Bob's
shit.
trying to get
Sorry.
a brand deal right now.
I was gonna say, Gary.
He's like, yo, for 10 grand, I got your next one.
I did something very weird, Bob. I didn't because I wanted the people that fucked with me the most to win the most. I so knew that I was going to win that I launched in May, which is like 1 trillion years ago.
How many did you launch? Like
10,255.
Did you sell them all at once or in phases?
One shot. But
One shot.
unlike most projects where you don't know what you get and it's like opening a pack, you knew which character you were buying with me.
And what did they initially go for? 2,000?
So I did a Dutch auction because I didn't want gas wars and people pounding it. So they went for all different prices. They were from 3 ETH to 0.5 ETH. And at the time, ETH was about $4,000. So more than 50% went for 2,000 a piece. At the height, some went for 10,000 on day one.
Wow.
But for example, somebody sold an ape from my world yesterday for $200,000 that they paid $8,000 for. Right? So but I knew that I wanted my audience to because I was so confident. Instead of my rich friends or my influencer friends, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it out there. I was definitely not under the radar. I was everywhere. I was like, I'm doing it. But I didn't call anybody and say, you have to. Because it was hard, because it was mine. It's like, yo, and especially in May, it was like, and Herm's here. He fucked up. I was with him on day launch.
Herm
I'm like,
gave me his DraftKings
he
sweater, by
fucked
the way.
up so bad.
Herm gave me his DraftKings
Herm
sweater.
fucked up so he could have made millions, but instead he's got a good beard. And so what? So it was hard for me to say buy this because in May, you think NFTs are fucking crazy to people now in January? May of last year was like fucking.
Yeah.
I thought it was the stupidest thing ever.
And now you're like, wait a minute, exactly.
I'm starting. I think what really throws people off is they just think it's a photo
Correct.
of a fucking, like I said, like an animal that looks like
Correct.
it's on Molly. But when you realize that it's a
Guilty.
digital token that's going to give you access to shit, and as the world just goes more and more digital, you
How
don't
do-
know what
how
that
do-
access
how do-
is going to lead to.
How do people not know that they have a child or a sibling or a niece or a nephew or a cousin that is spending unlimited money on Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft and NBA 2K and Madden points on digital flex, digital access? Farmville was 10 years ago doing hundreds of millions.
SimCity.
Crazy.
You know how many upgrade video? Like I watch people literally shit talk on NFT. I'm weird. I do my homework when I'm trying to get Bob to do. I see somebody say this is a fucking scam, then I click it and I look at everything they've said ever, and sure enough, I can go back 9 months and see that they paid $100 for power-ups of their little mobile game. The fuck did you do that for? Why'd you pay $100 for something digital?
But that's giving you a utility. So I think all these other
Correct.
projects are confusing people because it's like, it's just a picture of a cougar.
Correct.
Like, what am I getting?
Correct. Meanwhile, people don't say that about spending $600,000 on a Michael Jordan rookie card, even though in 1945, nobody thought cards were worth anything. Comic books sell for millions of dollars when there's Spider-Man or Superman or Batman #1, but everybody thought it was stupid to pay $500 for them in 1965 when they were originally 10 cents. People always shit on things that are collectibles, VHS tapes. Who would have ever thought? People aren't good at history. If you look at history, it will tell you the future. That's what this shit is.
What's your opinion on, like, everyone's talking about it now is kind of different as like the metaverse?
I think it's too early.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people live in VR 24/7 to make it pop off the way people think it's going to, which is why I haven't bought land or gone in yet. It will come, but I'm very big on timing. In 2016, I bought Ethereum because I understood that it was a platform, not a currency. I liked it. In 2017, I looked at CryptoKitties for 5 minutes and I was like, this is too early. I don't see normals collecting this. In December of 2020, I looked at CryptoPunks and I looked at Top Shot and I'm like, oh shit, the normals are coming. And that's when I went in and did my 100 hours of homework in January and February and just shut down January and February. This time last year, I was shut down, 15 hours reading, listening and watching. I don't think we're there on the metaverse. I don't think everybody here is like, can't wait to get home and put on my VR set and fucking chill. But I don't think it's as far.
I don't think it's
I don't
that
know the
far away.
timing. I never guess timing. I just move fast when it happens.
Because I know one question with the, like, a utility of an NFT could be like, it's...
Are we good?
No.
Do I have to go?
No,
That's what I'm talking.
we still
When
need
do
you.
I need to leave?
We'll wrap it up.
Cool.
now.
Wrap it up.
Sorry
Wrap it
about
up.
We're good. We'll
When
wrap
were
it
we
up.
supposed to be
playing?
there?
Knicks?
What's my calendar say? Yeah.
We'll wrap it up. We're good. We
Sorry.
usually do an hour.
I'm
We're good.
fucking enjoying the shit
Yeah,
out of this. I
I
just
know,
was like,
this casual.
No, we're good. You got
There's
somewhere to
also
be?
a few things I want to.
rapid fire.
Yeah.
You want to do a 5
What
minute?
does my calendar say? Leave at 7:15. 7.
What time is it right now?
7:28. 7:28.
Really?
Gary, see
Or
how...
either the two of you going to do for them something?
All right, so here's the deal. Wrap it up or...
No,
Yes,
no.
please.
All right, perfect. So here's the deal. John, you want to wrap it up or Kyle?
No, I want to know more about Fly Fish Club.
We tomorrow of the filming, you guys are going to air this after, so this happened last week. I'm launching with 3 partners, Connor, Roddy, and Josh Capon, a very epic chef. We're launching a token that is your access to a private restaurant club. Think Soho House, think Zero Bond, think country clubs where you pay your dues to buy in, and you buy the token. And that gets you into, but it's your asset. Unlike Rayos, where you buy the table, you can't resell it. With Fly Fish Club, you buy the token, you can come, we're gonna open in New York and obviously expand Vegas, LA, Miami's our ambition, Europe, London, Paris over the next decade, but this is your token. But we can add value to it, virtual events, pop-ups at the Masters, pop-ups at the Super Bowl, pop-up. It is the whole game. So I'm leaning into utility while everyone's
So
doing
it's a
pictures.
physical location
It's a
here?
physical location.
When does it open?
Late this year, maybe Q1 2020.
Crazy.
And can you only get in if you have the
You
token?
can only get in if you have the token.
Wow.
That's the
How do I
future
get
of
the token
restaurants.
as an idiot?
So
Tomorrow, do you have an Ethereum wallet?
Yes.
Good. You buy one tomorrow.
Buy one tomorrow. Got it.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the text.
Here it
Transfer me
comes,
Ethereum.
Johnny, give
1
me
a.m. I'll
1,000.
get up to go pee, and I'll look at my phone real quick.
Hey,
Got any
that's a different
Ethereum?
reason. That's a different reason.
Gary, what are some of your favorite NFTs that are outside of the V world?
I love World of Women. I think it's the biggest miss of everyone. It's the first significant, epic, dominant, female-only project. Like female-only, and I think long-term, like 7 years from now, 15 years from now, when the world's in, they're gonna be like, oh shit, just like CryptoPunks or Bored Ape or VFriends, this is the blue chip of the early days of female. And so I see all the powerhouse female executives that I know in the business world and just the fucking, all those female ninjas, they're gonna gravitate to World of Women. I think World of Women is massively underpriced, long term. And again, everybody watching, 90% of you that are in the game, you're trying to flip in an hour. Like, don't use this clip to like try to buy it for 3 Ethereum and sell for 4. This is long.
Yeah.
15 years, 3 years, 9 years. So World of Women, I think, is really interesting. Subducks.
Okay.
Frankie's a real guy. He's
really.
been in the game for 4 years. You'd love him. He's like one of you guys. Like, he's fucking cool as fuck. Real designer. He's in it for his life. I think he's got a really good project that's slightly underrated.
Okay.
AJ, my brother, who's fucking, really fucking smart. Like I've got a little bit more of the intuition, but he's got more of like the black and white, like ninja. He's been on Doodles for a while.
Love Doodles.
And so now that's very dangerously close to becoming maybe the next. Could that be the one that actually becomes the next Bored Ape? Because it's getting hot right at this second. So that's expensive.
He and I just bought some Doodles. We bought some Doodles, Alien Friends, and In-Betweeners in the last week.
Invisible Friend, it's got a lot of hype. I really like X Copy for the very wealthy who are watching long term. That feels safe to me. Trying to think of something inexpensive. Look real quick. I know we have to go. Let me look at one little inexpensive thing to make sure I find something that brings value to the masses. Give me 1 second. Just looking at literally right now, the top selling projects. Creature World. I think Danny Cole is one of the coolest fuckers.
Yeah,
he's a real artist. Like, he's like, when it's funny, when I met Danny Cole, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like the kids that, like, when I met you and your bro, you guys left. This is like a trillion years ago. One of my shitty offices. Yeah. You guys left.
That was a beautiful office. You're not there anymore?
No, we're way different.
Wow.
You guys left, and I turned to the team. I said, those guys are going to win.
Well, thank you.
Right. And so, I guess Danny Cole, to that point, is that kind of guy. Cool. So those are some of the ones that stand out. King Frogs, which is derivative from Subducks. I am so happy for the most creative people in the world, because the NFT blockchain infrastructure is going to unleash levels of creativity that we've never been able to see.
I can't wait for Bob to call us with his idea.
Listen,
no more.
I'm silent but deadly.
I know you are. That's
You're
why I can't wait.
Bob.
I can't wait for the
Bob.
calls.
Gary,
no
the
more.
fucking man.
I gotta go. I love you guys. Take care.
Love you.